Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Joel, and this is A Stable Life. In our most recent video, we were preparing for a rainstorm that was on its way. Last night was pretty windy and pretty rainy. Taking a look at our culvert here, we see fresh signs of lots of water flow. However, the driveway is looking pretty good, all things considered. Looking at our rain gauge, we did not get 2.5 inches of rain. We got, looks like about 3/4 of an inch of rain. This is the rainfall from our rainstorm that we had, where all the snow was melting, on top of the rain we got last night. So there you go, 2.5 inches total. Kind of crazy when you consider that that's how much rain we got in one storm. That one that we did all the flood video on. We gotta make sure this is empty, because tonight it's getting cold. Very cold. We're actually supposed to be getting some January cold temperatures today. 16 degrees is the low for tonight. That does mean we need to do a blanket change. Of course, with it being in the 50s, what they're wearing won't keep them necessarily warm for 16 degrees. Not to mention, we're also going to be working on another tack box today, my mom and I. I believe it will be just my mom and I. Megan's up there working in the store. Today's the last day that the farm market's open. As Andrew mentioned in the most recent video, the whole family's on vacation, so the store is going to be closed. Exciting times. Let's see how the barn looks. Well, everything's looking pretty good. We still need to get some lights in this feed room. There's no wiring or outlets or anything in this area because it was originally where we stored all of our hay, and we kept all of the electrics far away from where the hay is stored for obvious reasons. The barn looks good. All right, let's fill it up. It's a windy one out there. Wouldn't be surprised if we have some trees down. This is the time of year that trees go down on the fence lines, and then you have to go out, and that's the day when it gets freezing cold. Hey, Buster. Hey, Rocky. Good morning, Buttes. Good morning, you beautiful donkeys. Looks like they were out in the rain a little bit last night. By choice. By choice. It's not like they couldn't just spend the night inside their barn. Right? Yes, good morning, guys. Hey, yeah, good morning. Little rubber nuggies. There you go, Rocky. Here you are, Buster. There we go, they're set for the day. It was really crazy when I was measuring out grain. The wind was just whipping up. Everything is absolutely saturated. Tell you what, I really like this new camera holder. It's kind of spiffy. Oh, my rock. Hey, George. Hey, champ. Those two are always the first ones on in anymore. Come on, boys! Come on, boys! Let's go! Time to eat! Come on, boys! Now, that is exactly what I wanted to see. See how everything is absolutely saturated? Look at these horses coming in. Look at their backs. They're dry. Are they wet? Yes. Could they have gone out in the rain? 100%. But look, they are dry. And no, it actually stopped raining this morning. I woke up and it was still raining, and it was raining while I was measuring out grain. That is not because it stopped raining a while ago. That is because the barn works. The feeder works. Oh, that's so good. Look at Rebel and Jack. Dry too. Jack most, but that kind of makes sense. These two are the ones that are higher in this herd of 4 horses. Look at Rebel. Wow. Yeah, they're wet on the sides, which makes sense. It was very windy last night, but wow, drying down quick. Oh, that's awesome. Yay! Oh, you got to take the small victories. They're important. Well, hello there, fire. See him telling me to open the door? Hey, Skywalker. Hey, Spitfire. Hey, Danny, Poncho, Declan, Weather, Sriracha, Tucker, and Obi. Look at the hill. Actually, surprisingly, still looks pretty good. In the most recent video, I kind of backbladed it to get a lot of the divots out in preparation for tonight's freezing temperatures. I knew the rain would do some damage to it, and then the horses coming up and down it in the mud would do some damage to it. But you could see, well, look at Gavin, just a champion here. But you can see most of them are using that hill, that little path that they're etching into the hill there. The power these animals have is absolutely incredible. General rule of thumb for horses is that a horse can support about 20% of their body weight on their back. So for a 1,000-pound horse, like say Poncho here, he could support a rider that's around 200 pounds. And then of course for a bigger horse like say Tucker or Samson, they could support a person more like me. And a horse can pull more than they can carry. A horse can pull 1.5 times their body weight. So Samson and Tucker could pull about 33 to 3,500 pounds respectively. If you were to team those two horses together, which you normally wouldn't because they're different breeds, different heights, different sizes, but say we had 2 Tuckers and you teamed them together, that means that you could pull about 7,000 pounds with them. Pretty incredible. As fast as they're in is as fast as they're out. The horses are all the way out. You can actually see a couple of them are eating the hay that I pulled out of the feeder. Hey, I'm all for it. They want to mop that up for me? Go right on ahead, boys. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. But anyway, all the horses are out. Except for Archer. You can hear him, he's quite upset. His owner is on their way down. They're gonna be taking him riding and they respectfully asked for their horse to be kept in, which is perfect. It's nice and easy. They don't have to go all the way out in the pastures to pick them up. That's the way we like to do it. My mom is here. She put some final touches on the tack box over there. So all that's left is the top and the door, and then that tack box is ready to go. And then today we're gonna be working on putting the tack box in this stall, which is awesome because I think the mares are coming here in a week and a half or so. Week and a half or 2 weeks, and those are the stalls that we would love them to use. The one stall is right next to the feed room, which means you don't have a gelding on this side. And then the other stall is right next to Poncho, who has been with the mares in the past, so we know for a fact that he's a good gelding to have next to him. Interestingly enough, we went to the Pennsylvania State Farm Show. Had a lot of fun down there, my wife and I, and they actually had a couple areas where they had a mare and a gelding teamed up together, doing team events in the rodeo and also doing team events when it comes to pulling carts. Geldings and mares actually do really well together. You just gotta make sure you get a good team. Moving some old wood here so that we can fix this little section. Okay, so these boards need to move, right?
Yeah, so let's start with this one. So we're gonna take it this side. It's gonna go up against here.
Okay.
And we're gonna screw it right fast. Okay, go your way a little bit. Okay, that's far enough to make my way just a little bit more.
The horses kind of pick their heads through here and eat the hay that's stored on the other side. I can't fault them for it, but that's why this is some old stall doors that are being reused. There we go. So we're still using the boards that is left over from the shed. If you want to see where those boards came from, there's a video of me taking down the old shed in the middle field before we built the new hay feeder. And that's where these boards are. Yeah, we have one. Okay, this one's got 2 nails in it. So I got 2 nails I need to get rid of. Gotta make sure we're level, but we've got a board that is also bowing. So that'll be a little tricky. What is that? That gives us room to fasten our 2x6s. Good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten one on the back side here.
Alright, that box is like done. All it needs is the door, the back, and the top.
Doesn't really sound done when you put it that way.
Okay, we'll call that done with phase 3.
Ooh, spicy. I like it. You're dressing up the words.
Got a nail sticking out here. Is that pulling you off of where you need to be, or is that good to be there?
Well, it would be better if it was gone. You want to get rid of it for me? Want me to get rid of it for you?
Yeah. Or don't.
Mom, your wisdom is profound. I got a bowed board and I'm trying to work with it. That's the...
You got it so that it bows out, right?
Correct.
Now I got room to put a board on the other side?
Yes, ma'am. Just did the top. I'm about to work on the bottom now. Gotta go get my blue screws.
Blue screws. Do you remember watching Blue's Clues when you were little?
I do. Good luck moving that now. Now, what do you want me to do? You want me to push?
Yeah, push as hard as you can push. Ready?
Go ahead. Take me away. Do 90 on 90 degrees, right?
Yeah.
Now for these I pre-drilled because I didn't want to split the boards.
Got a frame?
We got our frame. It's in 33, right?
33. Good job.
I found a new fancy one.
Did you?
Got it out of Dad's toolbox.
Ah.
That's all I needed to do, you know. You need to go shopping, you just go to your dad's toolbox. Well, that's something. She found a piece of plywood that exactly fits this. Even the length?
Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
I didn't cut it, nothing.
Good stuff. Okay, we're gonna put the frame up and the wall. And let's keep the camera from falling, huh? Okay, I'm ready, Ma.
All right, you gotta screw that one fast.
This one?
Yep, because that's gonna hold us. There we go. We're gonna go under that board and inside this one. Now we go up so this board touches the bottom of this board. I love it when a plan comes together, Joel. Yeah, cut end out, that's good.
Well, there we are, guys. We have a completed tack box. We had to go digging around for some wood. And a neat little history fact for you. This board right here and this board right here is older than I am. I'm told that these boards are rough cut lumber back when the stable first started. And this was purchased from a lumber mill that's close by and used for building back when the stable first started. So it's my understanding that my mom got these when she was 18. We wanted them to be a part of the wall, keep the stable's history alive. So that's cool. Neat little fact for you, for whoever ends up in this stall. That's exciting. All that needs to be done is they got to put a sheet of plywood right here on the back, and then a little bit of a roof over the top. Of course, all the hardware, and then the door, and then the tack box is completed. We got to put a hay feeder in here, and a feed bucket, and a water bucket holder. Yep. And then these two stalls are ready. That's exciting. And another cool history fact for you is right here is remnants from the fire. You can see the boards got a little charred, but the firefighters was able to save it, and it is still structurally sound.
That was back in 2003.
2003. So there you go. So that's what, 21 years ago. That's kind of crazy. I can't believe 2003 was 21 years ago. Oh my word. We're breaking for lunch. Mom and Leia are done for the day. Hard-working troopers. I'm gonna clean up, and then we got a lot of blanket changes we gotta do this afternoon. So that'll be fun. Well, I just closed the upper door because the wind's getting so crazy out there. Truthfully told, guys, I'm running out of room on my camera's SD card. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more shorter and concise with what I'm saying and what's going on. Starting with these stalls, I'm happy with them. I think they're looking really good. I'm excited for what lies ahead. This stall door is completely ready to go. It's got the hook on it and it's got the cattle panel on it. We need to put a piece of cattle panel over top of this door. Being that this is probably the stalls where the mares are going to go, we want to make sure they can't stick their heads out through the stall door. If they're in a bad mood and the geldings are coming by through the aisleway, we don't want them being able to reach out and bite the horses. Not to mention, we don't want the geldings being able to take their heads and stick them into the stall where the mares are. So that's for the safety of both. This afternoon, let me show you what we got going on our weather. Temperature right now is 40 degrees. Tonight, it's going down to 26, and they're calling for the temperature tomorrow night to be 12. How crazy is that? I'll answer. That's pretty crazy. And because of the wind, the real feels are gonna be really intense. So I'm gonna get started measuring out. I'm also gonna change over to my heated vest because this guy's just not doing enough for me anymore. We're gonna swap all the blankets from all the horses, from their regular mediums to their nice heavies. Exciting times. Alrighty guys, we are just about done for feeding for the day. All of the horses are in the barn. I still have to change all of their blankets, but I don't have enough footage to record myself changing the blankets. So I'm going to use a time lapse to kind of get around it since they don't take as much space, and it should leave enough for you guys to be able to see them all heading out into the pastures once we're done. So I'm gonna switch things over to a time lapse, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the name of each horse that we're working on in the lower left-hand corner so you guys know what's going on as we're going through them. All right, I'm getting started with George. getting cold. We got all the boys out though. As for the big field, we just about have all of the horses out over here. I only got Weather and Samson still out yet, and then they're all out. The horses are pretty happy. I wanted to address some questions, which is why you didn't see all of the horses getting blanketed. I figured I needed to prioritize some time on this. You might be wondering, why is it that the horses are not being left in with it being so windy and so cold out? Well, at this point, really, it is a decision that you can make based on your horse. If you wanted, you could keep the horse in weather like this, especially if you didn't have a blanket for them. Depending on how thick their winter coat is, a lot of domesticated horses really have a hard time staying warm when it gets this cold and this windy. Especially if they're going to be out on a mountain knoll where the wind's whipping up. If they don't have a blanket on, it might be a good idea for you to keep your horse inside the stall. But you can also play it by ear. Some horses develop a good thick winter coat where they're fine being out in these cold weathers and temperatures, even in these winds. They're completely fine. A lot of wild horses deal with this no problem. But as for these guys, they don't really have thick winter coats. So we blanket them, and blanketing them is a choice that we have made because the horses prefer being out over being in. When they hear the rain hitting the tin and they hear the wind outside, well, they pretty much decide to generally calm down inside the barn, and they're okay with staying in. And no, this is not a repeat of a different clip. Fire just walked back in, checked the stall, walked back out. I really, you know? I think he was, yeah, he's wanting salt. So he came into his stall to lick the salt lick. And then he came back out because he saw me coming. Oh, look over here. We got a whole bunch of cows all chilling here. So yes, depending on where you live, you might not blanket your horses. I've seen a few people in the comment section ask why we blanket our horses because they don't blanket their horses. And that's awesome. And in fact, if you have a few of your horses, you have that freedom to choose how you want your horses to be cared for. But we gotta remember that a lot of these horses are not ours. A lot of these horses are our clients. So we need to make sure that our clients are happy with how these horses are being cared for as well. And if the client shows up tomorrow morning and the horse comes in and they see their horse shivering, that's not gonna go too well. We've got to make sure that these horses are taken care of above and beyond. So that's why we blanket them. But it doesn't matter how good a blanket you have. When you got driving rain or crazy snow, that blanket's going to get soaked. And then it turns from being an asset to a liability. And in those situations, that's why we'll keep them in. I usually try to explain the reasons as to why we're doing what we're doing. All right, let's get these last two out and button up the barn. Okay guys, the barn's all buttoned up. Horses are all buttoned up. All the heaters are turned on. So I think we're pretty much good to go. Hey, look who showed up.
It's windy out there.
She's my ride home. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.